couple of 10-kilometer climbs we did. We feel really good, endorphins kicking in. You feel all good, and then when you go back to work as well, you are able to contribute more. I've seen that myself, and especially a lot of times. You do a hard session or indoors or outdoors, doesn't matter. The heavy lifting for the day is done, at least physically, but then you go and you can see that you are a lot more efficient, effective at work as well. And I think my recommendation for everyone is to get a bike, whatever bike you want to get a bike, start cycling, go enjoy life.
I am Vaiki Venki, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest, Shankar Jayaraman, has been my teammate at Spectrum Racing for more than 10 years now. He is someone who does not make too much fuss about being busy and goes about his rides and workouts with the same cool as he does managing a big team with million-dollar deliverables at work. In this episode, Shankar shares his endurance journey and how he is able to balance work, staying fit, and having fun riding a bike. We also talk about coming back from serious injuries and carrying on riding. We recorded this episode on the banks of river Badra in Kalasa when we were there a couple of weeks ago for a bike trip. I hope you enjoy this as much as we did. Now, let us get into my conversation with Shankar. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Shankar. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Happy to be here. Fantastic setting. Thanks for setting it up at a very unique location.
Yeah, we are, for those who are just listening to the podcast, we are sitting on the banks of river Badra in Kalasa. We came for a cycling trip and I'm using this opportunity to record a podcast with Shankar. Shankar has been a long-time friend of mine and a teammate, and we have known each other for a long time, but I wanted to use this opportunity to capture his journey through this podcast. Shankar, let's start by talking about what was it like for you as a kid and sports?
Zero.
Yeah.
I don't think I participated in any sports ever as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Probably maybe participated in a running race. We used to have school running races and all. No? Participate come last, but one of those numbers. And yeah, I was always studying, nothing much. Otherwise, reading, studying, that was the only thing. I don't think I was into any sport as a kid. I mean, gully cricket and all that, of course, all that was always there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, nothing as a passion.
Right. So, how did you get into cycling? How did cycling happen then?
Midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know, but
that midlife crisis, when at what age did it happen? What year?
28.
Your midlife started quite early,
yeah? No, I think 2008 is when I bought my cycle. 2009, Jan 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2008, kid was born in 2008. And because I myself was quite heavy, in relative terms, I was like 78, 80 types, almost 80, 78, I think.
Okay.
I just wanted to lose some weight, and I'd heard about people cycling to work and all that. And sometime in December I heard, and Jan 1st I went and bought an MTB to commute to work. I was living in Malleshwaram then, so Malleshwaram to C.V. Raman Nagar. It's about 13 kilometers. Of course, I didn't do it every day. Probably started with once a week, extended to twice a week. That's how it started.
Nice. So 2008 was also that same year that I started my cycling. And
cool.
Incidentally, that is also the year my first kid was born, and I was about 92 kilos, not 80, but that is what triggered, being overweight and facing health issues, and that new life coming into the family, new addition to the family. It all kind of started that. So sounds somewhat similar. Now, in the initial years, you said you started with commute.
Yeah, I think the whole of 2008, I was just commuting, as I said, not more than 2 or 3 times a week. maybe 2009, I don't exactly recollect, but 2009 I extended. Sometimes I used to do. I realized that it was like 13, 14 kilometers from Sheshadripur, Malleshwaram to office, and realized that it's much faster going by cycle than by car, and we had a gym in office and all that, so it was just a lot more convenient. So increase the frequency of commute, but pretty much that. I don't think we was thinking of going riding long distance and all. 2009 I heard about all this BBC. There was this Bangalore bicycle.
Yeah.
What was it
Bangalore
called?
Bicycling Club. There
Club.
is a Google group that
Google
was there.
group. Yeah. I got into all that. Of course, I've exited all that now. Too many emails. At least some years back. I don't know if it's even exists now.
Yeah.
But yeah, joined all that. Got to meet people. Started riding on weekends. Weekends go to. I think we went to Bannerghatta, ride on Outer Ring Road, which was a fancy thing then, not now. Yeah, so that way started putting in some mileage over the weekends as well. Yeah, that's slowly increased. 2010, I think, got to meet a lot more people. I think BBCH also started. I remember with the MTB, I participated in one
BBCH
race also in Rajanakunte. I think that was the first race I participated in.
Nice.
Rajanakunte race in 2009 or 10, and 9 probably, most likely in 2009. Yeah.
So, and 2010 was also when you participated in TFN?
TFN, yeah. So 2010, yeah, I've heard about TFN in 2009, if I recollect now. So 2010, I registered for it, and that year I also went to climb Kilimanjaro with other friends. So we had two big things going on.
Hiking.
Right. Hiking Kilimanjaro. That was in October. I think TFN was in December.
Two very significant events in the same year.
Milestones.
So how let us start, because I don't know much about hiking. I'm really interested. How was that experience, hiking of the Kilimanjaro?
That was fantastic. I went there because there's a friend of mine who went in 2009 and he could not complete that, and he came back. He always wanted to go back. So I was not much into hiking or anything. So I told him I'll give him company, and the two more friends of mine joined. So 4 of us went. Super fun going to Africa, Tanzania, the whole people. That's a fantastic place. I think everybody should do it once. And it's not very difficult, right? I'm talking about. I was not really fit then, like I'm now. I'm fitter now. I'm not saying I'm super fit now, but I'm fitter now than I was then.
In relative terms,
I'm fitter now than I was then. And I'm not saying it was easy, but I think it was an experience of a lifetime. Definitely something one should try to do.
How long did it take? And
5 days of trek where you stay in tents and all that. 5 days totally. We did something called Machame route. 5 days of it, and
how high do you get?
You get to 5,900 odd meters.
Wow.
Just a shade below 6,000 meters.
Wow. Okay.
Get there, finish that.
And you need to acclimatize to that and all.
Yeah, you
right?
start around 1,500 or 1,800 somewhere. That's when you start the hike, and then you climb high, come down low. So every day you go up a little more, then come down and stay at a place.
Okay.
There are fixed places where people stay for every route. Right, you stay there. I mean, stay and all is intense, and you have people supporting you in terms of carrying your luggage and generally taking care of your food. Everything is taken care. You just have to walk with a bag and all that. Your luggage is taken care, but you still need to have a carry bag with some, whatever food, little food for lunch and all. But pretty well organized. Lots of places who are doing that. In our own Anindita is organizing Kilimanjaro treks. I mean, she's there right
through
now.
African Adventure.
Through African Adventures, yes. It's something that I think we should all go once. And
yeah, we should. I think that is because I have never been on a trek, a small trek with actually, incidentally with Anandita, local in Bangalore, which I took my kids to, and it was fun. I think, but something like this, would be a huge adventure.
Right.
Coming back to the hike, right? You said it took 5 days. So how much were you traveling in a day and coming down?
Frankly, man, it's been a long time. 2010, right? 12 years now, almost. I think every day was 15-20 kilometers maybe of walk.
Okay.
And it was more walk on the first 2 days because you're in the lower plain, but shorter on the
As you
on
go
the,
up, it
yeah,
will become shorter.
shorter,
the
steeper,
progress
and all
will
that.
become
Correct,
short.
correct,
Okay,
correct.
slower.
Frankly, I don't recollect now, but yeah, anywhere between 10 to 20 kilometers. What I
Right, excellent. And you have done that. You have been to Kilimanjaro. You kind of achieved that target of reaching the summit. You summited the Kilimanjaro. You came back and signed up for
No,
TFN.
TFN I already signed up.
Already
I already
signed up.
signed up. And I was
Yeah,
writing for
yeah.
it as well.
So what was it like, the TFN experience itself? What was?
No, I think TFN, at least as an event, is fantastic for beginners, right? It got me to meet a lot of people, know what, and of course I met you before that, but I think 2011 during the TFN,
Correct,
itself,
yeah.
preparing for the TFN itself is when I got to know you more. You get to meet a lot of people, and yeah, fantastic routes. Ooty is a place I love, and I keep going there every year. I mean, this year at least I've gone twice already.
So that year TFN, were you doing it on MTB?
MTB.
Yeah.
That is the only TFN I did with MTB. Good fun. It was tough. I remember butt sores and all that by the time I came back, but it was good fun.
Yeah. So that year was also the year when Saru and a few other team who
Yeah,
are now
I think
teammates.
I met Mohan, I met Saru, I met Hari.
Yeah.
A lot of our Spectrum team, I met them for the first time as part of that.
As
that
part of
2010
that
TFN.
tour, right?
Yeah.
Now, coming back to, and did you do the TFN in 2011?
2011 as well I did. And
Uh-huh.
no, 2010, what I saw was the people on road bikes, how they were flying compared to me on MTB. So one thing that got me, I mean, of course, by then I loved cycling and I wanted to continue. So I knew that I wanted to get a road bike. So TFN gets over when December sometime end. So I think by end of Jan I had a road bike. That Trek 1.5 road bike I got. I still have it. Still ride it quite a bit.
Yeah, that is what you are riding
That's
here
what I'm
now.
riding here
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
12 years, yeah. The bike is almost 12 years now. Yeah, so I got a road bike, and given that the community was growing then, and you got to meet a lot more people, started riding with Mohan, Hari, then I got to meet Arvind, I got to meet Murthy. A lot of we still hang out as a team. So started riding with them, and yeah, registered for 2011 TFN, and that was fun too. We rode as a group throughout. You were there too, right? That was your first TFN. You were riding on
Correct. On my Pixie, the Bulldog.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You're crazy.
So, and 2000, was it 2011 that Shiva gave you that title of the fastest Indian?
Oh yeah, that was. I think that's 2011 TFN is when they started the races.
Race segment.
Yeah, race
correct.
segments. Yes. So for whatever reason, I think I finished 5th that year.
Fifth overall.
And of course our Shiva has all these fancy ideas. So he said, of course, the 4 of the others were. He was including Rajesh Nair as well as.
4 others were non-Indians.
From international locations.
Yeah.
So supposed to be the fastest Indian. I don't think that's the case at all.
But it was a lot of fun that year, being my first TFN as well. I have very fond memories. I've met a lot of the now teammates.
Yes.
Although I've ridden in Bangalore with a lot of you, I got to know a lot more during the TFN, and during the tour itself, I got force inducted.
I remember we both were there.
Spectrum Racing. Now, how was your induction to Spectrum happen? How did that?
I think along with we both got. Well, I was unofficially I was racing with Spectrum Racing as well. Even before that, I think a couple of races we did in BBCH. But then I was officially, quote unquote, officially inducted.
Oh, it's the
same
time.
together.
Nice, excellent. Coming to after that, right? You have done a lot many events, both here as well as outside the country. What are some of the memorable events that you would?
Events, okay. We've done a lot of. Still categorized as touring, but events went to this. We went to Italy twice, right? First the Giro de Dolomiti, 2014 and 2015. Again, 2014 was just two of us from here, but 2015, a lot more of us went. We participated as Spectrum racing.
2014 was you and Mohan, is it?
Mohan and
Okay,
Mohan
yeah.
and I. Of course, Rajesh and his wife had come from, they were in Italy. So 4 of us participated, good fun. Lots of climbing. And by then I'd got a Cervelo bike as well.
Right.
2014 is when I got the Cervelo bike as well. I think the bug of racing in Bangalore had bitten quite well by then, and I got the bike. It was a great bike. I still have it, but I don't use it as much. Yeah, I think 2014 we went to Italy. 2015 again in a larger group. Then 2016 or 17, I forget now. When did we go to Thailand?
Thailand was 2017.
17. No,
Yeah.
that was not some. I won't put it in the memorable trip. Memorable for wrong reasons. Very hot. Very hot.
Yeah, I remember that trip very well. It is obviously, it being Thailand, it was super hot and it was very humid. And those climbs, because it is on climbs, you won't feel you are not moving very fast, and you won't feel the wind. As you, if you are going faster, you would feel the wind a little bit, breeze a little bit more. And on those climbs, in that temperature, in that humidity, it was completely brutal. And you don't take
I don't take
heat.
to heat at all. Anything above 30, 32, I start struggling, and it felt like 50 degrees or 60 degrees. I don't know. I after that trip, I told myself, forget about going to Tour of Friendship. I'll never go to Thailand ever.
Yeah. So, but after that, what are some of the trips you have done? In 2019, a lot of us went to GDD. Were you there also?
2019 GDD, I didn't join, and my work was, I think, after 2016, work got hectic. I had to, right from 2015, 2016, I had to travel quite a bit. So while I was putting in mileage, but the race participation and all started dipping quite significantly from 2017, 18, 19. Travel, work pressure. I used to ride, but not really participate in races much.
Right.
Fitness also dropped a bit. I wouldn't say a lot, dropped a bit. But then at least do the weekend. A lot of touring we did, and that way we went to Sikkim once. That was a fantastic trip. Many 4-day, 5-day trips. Goa a couple of times, riding from Bangalore. So these
Yeah. So those are a couple of things that I want to talk about. That you went to Sikkim. So like 4, 5 of you went.
I think
how many?
6 of us or 8 of us. I forget. 6 of us. Yeah.
So how was that experience? What was the kind of riding that you guys
So
did
that
in
was
Sikkim?
it was known that it was not a road bikeable terrain. So we all had taken MTBs. I had borrowed Arvind's MTB, in fact, and taken it. And that was a really, really good trip. While we missed our return flights, that was the not so good part. But other than that,
How did that happen?
I'll come to that. Because the driver wanted to have breakfast. But nevertheless, since answering the first question, Nathula Pass, I think it's restricted to people from outside India. But otherwise, I forget the names of the places. I'm not good with that. But we were staying at some place. And I'm gonna make fun of me, but and then we had to go to some place else, and then I think we went from Nathula. The top point, Nathula, is at 44 or 4500 meter, and we started the ride at 800. So our plan was to start at 800. We had booked a place somewhere in between at 3,500 meter altitude, in fact closer to Nathula, and then go to Nathula, go down the next day. So we had to get some permit and all that. So that permit took a lot of time. Instead of starting at 10 a.m., I think we ended up starting at 1:30 p.m. And then we could not reach, so we had to stay put at some other place which we hadn't booked. And that's fun. I mean, otherwise that day was okay. Next day we had to climb to Nathula, get down, and it got really, really. We were riding in March, end of March. Got really, really cold. My fingers froze. I could not, hold the brake. Just 5 kilometers of downhill, my fingers froze. very cold, so I had to abandon the ride. I mean, it was all the way till Gangtok. It was downhill, and it was already 7 p.m. and I took like half an hour, 1 hour to recover. But then I didn't want to drive. We had support car, so I got into the car. Rest of them rode in dark. With our headlight as dangerous. I mean, it was crazy. Some 6-8 people riding down.
Wow. Yeah.
Complete downhill, bad roads. Nobody on the road, fortunately, hardly any traffic. But riding with our headlights as the only
Man,
light.
sounds like an epic experience.
As kick-ass. But yeah, we managed to reach Gangtok because I didn't do the downhill part. The climb was, which is always better than downhill.
Yeah. Climb is always better than downhill. Yes.
That was a good trip.
Yeah. And you have this, you kind of started this, I think 4-5 years back, this tradition of riding to Goa
Yeah.
during the New Year's.
So I think it's some of us who are not fun riders. So we were I think Venkat, MJV and others, they had started in fact in 2015. They were going to Ooty. In fact 2016 I remember. 16 or 17, man, too many years.
Yeah.
So we had gone to, me, Kiran and Siva had gone to, we rode along with TFN 3 days and then we came back. So we went to, I think you were there in that TFN too.
Yes.
We had come Bangalore, Mysore to, through Nagarhole and all, we went somewhere.
Right.
And then till third day till Gudalur, and then you guys climbed Kalati. We came back.
Right.
That was one weekend. The very next weekend, again I went. So till Gudalur I had come. Again I went. We went with family this time, and we were in Ooty for 5 days. Around that time, the other guys, Venkat, and they rode from Bangalore. So Siva, me, Kiran, and we went by car, and Ram as well, I think. The other guys came from, rode from Bangalore, MJV, Venkat, and Ananta. I think they took 3 or 4 days to reach Ooty. And then we met up when they were climbing up the Mettupalayam climb, to Kotagiri.
Right.
On that climb, then once they reached Kotagiri, we had ridden to Kodanad, so we met up and we rode back to Ooty. We were staying in Ooty then, and then it kind of became a tradition right from that year. So and then we decided, let's not do Ooty, let's start coming to Goa. I think 2017 I missed because 2017 I had come on to TFN. We were there in that 2017, but from 2018. I think 2018 and 2019 we did Goa twice, and in fact 2018 was self-supported. We didn't have a support car too. So
right, it was like bike packing you guys did.
Yeah, of course we stayed in hotels, but we had carried stuff on the bike itself with limited. Some of the guys had the front pouch with just 2-3 clothes. That's it.
Wow.
And, minimal luggage touring.
Right.
That's good fun. And each year we have been coming to Goa in different routes. There are lots of climbs on the way, lots of interesting places to see.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think you guys repeated the roads that much, although you have to.
Some part. Bangalore Hassan is always common.
Yeah.
But from Hassan there are multiple roads.
Multiple roads and do that. I mean, I did not join till now, but whenever I see, I feel quite envious of that.
It's good.
So it should be fun to. Maybe I should join you.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of these rides, yes.
Right.
And in fact, after during the pandemic, 2020, I've been riding a lot more. I think more or less every month or 2 months, I'm out going somewhere or the other.
Right.
I'd come here last year exactly around this time. And then we had gone to Sakleshpur multiple times, to Chikmagalur.
Right.
Because Ooty is always there. Every 3 months or 6 months I'm there.
Yeah.
It's fun. Cycling is fun.
Super. So, I mean, what I've noticed is that over the years, whether racing or not racing, you've been quite consistent with your mileage mostly. Right? So that you have kept yourself more or less very fit. But you mentioned that in between about 15-16 times, you got quite busy with work and traveling and all. So, but how did you during that time? How did you manage with work pressure and cycling?
I joined this place I work in 2015. In fact, I had to spend a lot of time in Mumbai then. In fact, I had taken my trek cycle there.
Hmm.
I left it there for a year, and when I was there, I used to ride there. But 17 and 18, I was not. While I was traveling a lot more, I didn't want to stay back there. I mean, I was staying weekends
Right.
the initial days. So it used to be go for 3 days, 4 days in a week and come back. So that was pretty hectic. But weekends, I always used to ride in Bangalore. Just that by then, some of these weekend rides that we used to do got very, very intense. So I stopped riding with the regular gang.
Yeah.
It was way too intense. It was not a good feeling to get dropped right at the beginning. But I still used to ride. And of course, trainer rides. My trainer is almost 10 years now. 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I'm
You
still
have a
using-
kinetic road
no.
machine.
I have a what is it? That Cyclops jet fluid.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think I
similar
have
to road machine, it's a Cyclops. jet.
I think that's 10 years. 2012 I had got.
Right.
Along with the power meter.
Yeah.
The power meter that's running in my trek bike, that's also 10 years old.
Power tap, power
Power
meter,
tap, power
wheel
meter.
based. Yeah.
Correct. Hub-based power meter. So
Right.
that's been, the trainer is I think I've got maximum value for money out of it.
Right. Yeah.
10 years I'm
Definitely.
using it.
So, what I kind of gather is that when you were quite busy with work and hectic, travel and stuff, you still managed to find ways to ride. Like keeping a bike in Mumbai when you were staying there for extended periods of time, and then when you are doing part travel and part here, you're riding there on weekdays and here on weekends and stuff like that. So you managed to prioritize staying fit, staying on the bike, and enjoying cycling while also
It was, I mean, see, frankly,
yeah.
I know for a fact cycling is a big part of my life. And I enjoy riding and I enjoy climbs. So find way, and if you can't just come and ride in a place like this, right? I mean, with all these climbs, you need to be fit for it to some extent. You may not be race fit always. So that keeps me going in terms of why put 1 hour effort indoors? It's not fun.
Right.
But at least if you do that 1 hour, you go out and ride, you are hanging out with people, you are able to ride with people you want to ride with.
Right.
So that's what was keeping me motivated to keep training indoors, whatever little I could do at that time. And of course, weekends always, at least not both the days, at least one of the days, ride out with friends.
Nice. And talking of, one thing that I remember, talking of keeping riding, one thing I remember is something that happened, was it in 2020 that?
Accident?
Accident?
Yeah, 2020 November.
2020 November.
End of November.
After the lockdowns were lifted and we have been riding.
I started racing also in 2020.
2020.
We did 2 BBCH days. I was on master podium as well.
Right.
I think you were not riding then. Arvind was not riding well.
Yeah.
And
you
at that time.
we were not in form. We a couple of us have not been riding, but you came back to racing. You were in great shape. You put in a lot of miles that year, and
2020, except December, of course, I didn't ride. I was pretty much bedridden. So
yeah.
to say. But yeah, 2020, I think that was the most I've done, close to 15k. I think 14,500 is what I had done by November.
By November, yeah.
Most mileage, because lockdown was, I remember lockdown, March, I think just before lockdown started, I was at almost 68, 69 kilos. By July, I had hit 59.
Wow.
Just cycling.
Sub 60, yeah.
Just cycling. 59 is not fun. I've hit that once before. You start feeling very weak. But yeah, I had got into pretty good shape because while I was doing indoor riding as well, but putting in a lot of mileage. Me and the friend Kiran, we were riding 4 to 5 days a week consistently, and every week was 350 to 400 kilometers.
Right.
So that was that really brought up my fitness significantly. BBCH also could do reasonably well, but this accident, coming back to the accident, I think a week after the incident, in fact, you and I had gone to Nandi 1 week after that Saturday, you, me and Milam. As we had a good climb, we had a very fast return as well. Next day, it gone with Venkat and Milam again. It gone for a.
I was supposed to join that ride. I
Good. You were supposed to join. Kiran was supposed to join. I think Venkat was supposed to join.
Yeah.
Venkat was there, of course.
Yeah.
Milam and Kiran didn't join for whatever reason.
Mm.
Sorry, you and Kiran didn't join. But nevertheless, we'd gone on we go to this place in Hosur to have nice dosas. Fantastic,
dosas.
fantastic
I remember
breakfast
that
there.
place, yeah.
I'd gone there, and on the way back, it was all village roads. Hardly you get any traffic there.
Mm.
So there was this bus being Ashok Leyland bus, I think company bus that came. I think there's a place that comes, swerves 90 degrees.
Mm.
This guy who was driving, he got it out of control. He came swerved too much to the right. I was coming, Venkat on my wheel, coming on the opposite direction. It came and directly hit me from front. It hit my, of course not directly onto me, but not head on, but hit my shoes, hit my. I was riding my Canyon. I had a Canyon bike. I was riding the Canyon and hit my. Whatever tube that's called, man. I'm bad at it.
Yeah, seat tube
chain stay and the seat tube both broke. It came off in the hand and hit me. I got thrown out of the bike. Fortunately, I escaped with just a broken collarbone.
Yeah,
and,
but you were saying just a collarbone now, but it was quite a scary incident.
That's scary, yeah. I mean, think about it. I still get scared looking at if a bus is coming opposite me.
Yeah.
And I had no time to react.
Right.
It hit.
No, of course, but
I think it was not the fall that caused the collarbone to break. There was this other guy who was riding with me, Venkat. He fell on top of me. I think that's what he's standing there and laughing. But that's what caused my collarbone to break. But yeah,
no.
I mean, while I would blame him, he doesn't accept it. But that's how it is.
That is all fun and games. But the incident like that, right, would like you said, would scar us for a long time. But the great thing is you managed to come back, and I know it took a few months, definitely, and you managed to come back and started riding. What was that like? The months, the days and months following the accident like that. How was it, to deal with mentally and physically?
Yeah, it was not easy. I mean, because I was going out almost 5 days a week and riding with friends, meeting friends. So that suddenly stopped. The family was very scared. Wife was very scared about sending me out. Parents were very scared to send me out. And of course, doctor had said no riding. I started riding indoors a month or month and a half. I think month and a half. It took time. Month and a half riding indoors slowly. And I'd also had some other incident for which we don't know the root cause. I had blacked out 1 week after the accident in my bathroom, and I was admitted again for 3-4 days. We don't know why it happened, but then I became automatically, the bug got fixed, so as they say. And so that was more scary because you don't know why it happened.
Why that blackout happened.
Happened. Whether it's so. Doctors think that the surgery could have caused some clots, and that clots, went to the heart or whatever. It's just a hypothesis. Nobody knows. But then the family was more scared about that than
the fall itself.
Because fall was just bad luck. And it was not like in a race or some you were going in a highway fast or something. I was probably riding at 15 km/h.
Right.
But yeah, so not a good time. I wouldn't say, but I've heard stories of people coming back and all that, or like getting back to a regular regimen. But somehow, I mean, I still am not too enthused about racing per se, and family also didn't want. But just the week that Nandi race, in which we all raced together, I saw one good friend Vivek falling right in front of me. I mean, it was just two people behind him. He fell, one more guy fell. I just barely managed to escape that fall, and that was not pretty sad. And it was not Vivek's fault at all, and he had it was badly bruised.
This was before you had that crash.
Before,
right?
just one week before my crash.
Yeah.
I remember he had called me. I had called him after the accident, and we were talking, and then he called me after my accident. Like we seem to be talking on the phone with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. I think March I started riding out. We had gone on a trip with friends without cycle to Mangalore. Supposed to be generally to, get out of Bangalore types.
Right.
And there's also a period when COVID was down. So I'd gone to Bangalore, and my wife doesn't still know. I don't know whether she's going to watch this, but we had borrowed an MTB and rode around some 30, 40, 50 kilometers, couple of days.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
I'll blame Venkat for that too.
Yeah. So that kind of.
So that then came back. I think a doctor finally said you can start riding, and then I started riding.
Okay.
We went out for a ride. It seemed okay. I still, for a year, for whatever reason, for a year, whenever I went on a pothole, it still hurts.
Used to hurt.
Used to hurt. It doesn't hurt now.
Okay.
But it still used
you have some titanium inserted in your.
Here it's like some 7 inches or something like this
Wow.
much.
7 inches.
7 or 6 inches, something like
6
this.
inches of titanium
Yeah.
plate. You should upgrade to carbon.
No, I thought titanium was better than carbon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all perspective, but weight-wise, maybe it is lighter.
It's okay. I feel a little heavier these days, probably
Probably because of that. Yeah.
Titanium.
Awesome, man. The way you it is always difficult with incidents like that. It's always like you said, whenever you see a bus coming on or something, that it's always there on the mind, scarred and stuff. So it's good that you are able to come back and do all these fun rides with us, and keep us in line.
Yes.
So what are some of the tips that you would give working athletes to do well with life and cycling?
Advice, I don't know. I mean, I can give an example.
Yeah.
My wife has started riding. She got a road bike as well now. My mother was telling, in fact, she was trying to stop you from cycling all these days, last 3 years at least, since the accident, last couple of years. Now you have started. She started riding with you. You got her a bike. Now she started racing as well. She participated in that bar race.
The first race was the bar giving back race.
And she's enjoying it as well. I think from my perspective is cycling. We all are busy, right? We all have our schedules. We all have our deliverables. We all have some commitments at work, at home, etc. And cycling gives a break for all that. And you are interacting with people. It's not. I don't enjoy running. While maybe you can interact with people there, I don't enjoy running much. This you're riding out. You're going out. You're covering distance. Like you come here. I don't know if you ask runners, come all the way, drive. We drove some 300 kilometers and you're doing this tour. I don't think runners go and do that. Cyclists do, because we did this some couple of 10-kilometer climbs we did. We feel really good. Endorphins kicking in. You feel all good. And then when you go back to work as well, you are able to contribute more. I've seen that myself, especially a lot of times you do a hard session or indoors or outdoors, doesn't matter. And then the heavy lifting for the day is done, at least physically, but then you go and you can see that you are a lot more efficient, effective at work as well.
Right.
I think everybody should be, whatever is people may want, running, cycling, whatever they like, right? It's not that they have to adopt cycling, but personally I feel and especially for people who are working, who have not been, I was not physically active at all as a kid. So getting into running could be a lot more injurious. Of course, cycling can be injurious in different ways, like my accident.
Right.
But otherwise, it's a lot less stressful on your body. And if you want to stress it out, you can stress it out. You can start participating in races. And then you have more fun there. And the thing is, the community is big in India. Community is very big in Bangalore. You will always find like-minded people in your area, in your surroundings. And then at least most of my friends now are who I met in the last 10 years in my cycling community. We hang out together. Yeah. We are out. At least I'm with one bunch of friends or other every quarter, every 3 months. Right. Going on some trip or other. That's been, at least in the last 3 years, it's been, except for a small period of doing the accident. Last 5-6 years, it's been a staple in my life, and that's not something I'm gonna give up. It's very rejuvenating. Come on. Being here, being in a place like this, we did that 1500 meter of climbing today, sitting here, talking here. Then we're going to do Queen stage of our tour tomorrow. I think it can't beat.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think my recommendation for everyone is to get a bike, whatever bike you want to get a bike, start cycling, go enjoy life.
Awesome, man. This has been a fantastic chat. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your journey with the Working Athlete podcast.
It's good to. I think I've not been openly talking all this. Of course, we've talked some of it when we sit and have our sessions post our rides. But yeah, it's good fun, and I'm happy to see you talking to so many people and getting them to open up as part of this Working Athlete podcast. Hopefully, some people who listen, some of them get inspired. Inspired is, I think, too strong a word. Hope some of them start following and find their way to get healthier.
Thank you. Yes, that's the hope. Thank you.
That was my conversation with Shankar. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. Thanks again for your continued support. See you next week with another guest.